Okay. Hi guys, this is my makeup tutorial for the dark side of the force. No, it is not. I don't know how to put makeup on and I will never learn. But I'm gonna rant about Star Wars nonetheless. Yeah, just saw it. So many thoughts. They're gonna come out in a incoherent mess. So, have fun. I'm gonna put spoilers just in case somebody watches before I'm gonna spoil anything. So don't worry if there's like people who haven't seen it, maybe the one of you. So, Star Wars Rise of a Skywalker. What to say? I myself, I didn't go in with high expectations. My hopes were kind of low because of the whole debacle of changing directors for the second one. I didn't hate Last Jedi as much as other people did. There were obviously major flaws. There was things that I just couldn't comprehend why they put it in. But then there were other things that I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of interesting. Like this is maybe expanding the lore. But overall, like I'm kind of like, if you have a positive, negative, and neutral is here, so I'm a little bit over to the positive side of about The Last Jedi. And this movie, so I went in with almost no expectations. I saw one trailer. Usually I watch everything. Like when I went to see Last Jedi, I watched trailers, conspiracy theories, whatnot. Anything under the sun, I kind of watched before going in. So this is gonna divide people, same way as Last Jedi. There's a lot of things that I know that the old fans will hate, and there's some things that even the casual fans might not like. But overall, I think this is more for not the hardcore fandom of Star Wars. So I think a lot of hardcore fans will have problems with this one. It's just a feeling. I'm trying to explain it better as we go along, but I just have this feeling. I myself actually kind of liked it. I think it was okay conclusion, and it was way better than I thought it gonna be. So in a way, low expectations, so it's hard to go, under those. So you're always kind of happily surprised. But yeah, I liked it overall, but major issues which I didn't like, but like not as many as in Last Jedi. So I think this was actually a little bit better than The Last Jedi. Oh boy, the damage control in this one. Yeah. One of the things I didn't like. You could kind of see where they were trying desperately to do damage control and maybe please the fans that were so pissed at The Last Jedi, and I kind of wish that they hadn't done that, because honestly, like, it's done. It's out there, and now you're kind of like a little bit trying to like, well, it wasn't, that bad. Like, we are just like gonna correct it here. So for example, like race parentage, there had been so many conspiracies going into The Last Jedi, and then we learned that they are nobodies. So then they're like spoilers here, retconned it. Well, retconned it. They claimed that it was always the case. But we find out that Rey is a daughter of Palpatine's son. So yeah, that happened, and I'm just like thinking, like, where the hell, like, when did Palpatine have a child? When did that happen? Considering like we have known him since the episode 1. And I'm like, when did that happen? So I kind of felt that was a little bit of retcon in a way, because I think they had like maybe like, okay, I have to back it up a little bit here. um, I kind of dislike Apron's way of doing the mystery box because it's okay to have a mystery if you yourself know what's gonna be the conclusion, if you know what's the answer to the mystery. But I felt like he did the first of the new Star Wars, this episode 7, like let's build up, like let's put these mysteries out there and we're gonna answer them later. I don't know what the answers are, but somebody else is gonna answer them. And then Ryan Ryan okay, I forgot the person's name. I have to check it. I'm gonna put it out there, but Ryan something. Uh, Ryan Johnson, yes. So then Ryan Johnson came and was kind of answering the questions Abrams left, but not to the satisfaction of people. Not Disney, not the fans, you know. So they kind of retcon it here and say, yeah, like what Kylo said in The Last Jedi was kind of correct, but it wasn't the whole story. And it kind of felt like a retcon in a way. So that was one of the things I didn't like. There could have been like better explanations. Like I could have like even one I was thinking like even the one that maybe like Rey is also born same way of Anakin, like without a father. So that might have been like interesting, maybe. Maybe she could have been like same kind of balance bringer as Anakin was supposed to be, maybe, and that would have explained her like fast powers. But that didn't happen. She's a daughter of a son of a Palpatine, so you know, Palpatine's granddaughter. So okay, sure. And you know, considering the fact that Palpatine was quite old, okay, yeah. Men can have children as old as they want, unlike women. So, you know, technically not an issue, but still kind of felt weird that he was so old in the first episode, where Anakin was, you know, a little boy, wee boy, just a little innocent 6-something-year-old. And so them having the same age grandchildren kind of, I'm just like counting, like, is that possible? Like I think Rey is actually younger than Kylo Ren, so I'm just like counting in my head, like, is that possible? I guess that would be like Palpatine and Palpatine's son who are like late bloomers, but yeah, that like I hate when movies force me to do math and then it doesn't add up at all. So that was something I was thinking, like they're like, huh. So how old was Palpatine and or his son when they had children? So positive one for me. I still like the core 3 characters, Rey, Finn, and Poe, and I think they're nice characters, charismatic actors. I do like them, even though they didn't again build them up that much. They give them a couple of good lines here and there, and at one point I was actually okay. My positivity is gonna go to negative now, but again, when Poe is kind of the Rey, like, you're the best pilot we have, and I'm there like, no, you are. Didn't they say that you're the best pilot in the galaxy? And like, when did Rey like outshine you? I'm also like, okay, sure, fine. But yeah, I do like those 3 characters, and of course Chewie. Always loved Chewie, and what they did with the time that they have with Carrie Fisher was efficient. Leia had nice scenes, but you do notice that there were some scenes where I think it should have been Leia, and they kind of gave the part to somebody else or try to kind of work around the fact that Carrie Fisher died during the production. And one of those, again, spoilers, moments is when Han Solo appears to Ben or Kylo Ren. Well, actually Ben in that at that moment in time he should be Ben, and you it's kind of like you're just a memory. So not a force ghost, not a force ghost. I'm gonna make it clear here. It's just memory. It's not a forced ghost. Memory. So I felt that like they had to like include that line in so that the fans wouldn't go like, oh my god, like they're completely changed the rules now. Like Han wasn't even a Jedi and he can appear to the and yeah. I kind of felt that they had to like put it in so that the fans wouldn't tear them a new one. But yeah, that part felt that it should have been Leia. I think it would have been Leia have not Carrie Fisher died, and so basically when Kylo Ren kind of dies and Ben is reborn in a way, and he sees his father and he Han Solo gives some father advice. I kind of felt it would have been Leia in that position, but they kind of had to like work around that. They did it okay-ish. I felt that it did work because now Han Solo, in a way, in like Ben's mind, forgave him. So it did work okay, but there were a couple of scenes where you kind of noticed that they had to kind of work around the fact that Carrie Fisher is no longer with us. So that's understandable, and of course, huge burden suddenly to change the script. So given that, I think they did okay job with Leia and what she was doing in the movie. But there was also one more retcon from The Last Jedi with Leia. People were saying after The Last Jedi, like, how did Leia know how to pull herself back to the ship as like Mary Poppins? And they actually explain in this one that Luke was training her. Never came up like never did we learn about this until now. So again, felt it was really small scene, so it felt kind of a little bit of a retcon, again, like fans were complaining about this, and we are trying to explain it here, even though like nobody actually was thinking about it like during the last movie, like when we were shooting it, we didn't gonna think it was gonna be issue. Again, I don't know what has happened behind the scenes, but that felt something they add on that wasn't supposed to be there in the beginning. Oh boy, now this is a big one, and I know this is gonna upset a lot of fans. So yeah, Reylo is a thing, or was, but yeah, confirmed, completely confirmed, and I don't know how to feel about that. I honestly don't know. I think I have to watch the movie again because I have no idea. Because when it was happening, I was just going like, are they actually gonna go there? Are they actually gonna go there? And I was just like, just like, kind of seriously, they're gonna go there. I'm not like, I still don't know how I'm gonna feel about that one. Not like a Reylo shipper, but not like against it either. But I was just like, okay, I kind of see where they're coming with that, because there was like groundwork for that. They were laying the foundations for that, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it, and I know that a lot of fans are not gonna like it. There's so many, because I remember when the Reylo community kind of started after The Last Jedi, like bloomed after The Last Jedi. People were like, "Oh no, that's terrible idea." No, it's actually in canon, so I don't know. Honestly, I think that's one of the things that people will kind of tear a new one for the movie. I think I need time for to think it over. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not against romance or romantic plot points in action movies, but usually they're not done well, and I usually kind of hope that they're not there. They usually just feel empty and are so out of nowhere, and it's just because because you're the main character and there's the hot girl over there, you have to get together. And I hate it. And I hate when they're like saying, well, we need to have a romance so that the females will come, and I'm just like, fuck you. So that's gonna yeah. So many feelings about that, but I don't know where I'm gonna land on the hate side or the positive side, or like maybe I'm gonna stay neutral. Maybe I don't know. Okay, yet another spoiler. Kylo Ren, aka at that point Ben dies at the end, and after redemption arc, and that's actually one thing I was okay with, and actually, if I had written that story, I would have done the same, because there wasn't any other conclusion to his arc. He kind of needed to die, and they did it okay, except the kiss at the end, the Romeo and Juliet. But yeah, other than that, they did the redemption arc. You kind of saw it coming. They had laid the foundation for it, so it wasn't out of nowhere. It was there as it should be there. So that I did like, and I'm a little bit of a masochist, so dead characters always a plus. I would have wanted to have a little bit more like oh my god, he died, but it was right after the kiss, and I was just I was still like trying to get my head around the kiss, and then he died, and I was just like I didn't have a reaction to that. So yeah, considering the fact that like he's actually he's actually one of my favorite characters, so because Sith forever, and so yeah, I kind of wanted to feel more for that, but the kiss kind of threw me off just before. So but that arc really well done. I liked that one a lot, and I kind of understood where the character is coming from, what had happened, his conflict. They made it like the conflict was carried over from the 7th episode to Last Jedi to this one. So that was nice progression, and I did like it a lot. One thing I also like about Ben's arc is how the themes kind of follow Darth Vader's, because we kind of have had that throughout the movies, that he kind of is new Darth Vader. I don't want to say new Darth Vader, but in a way, yeah, he did have a similar arc. Like he got redeemed at the end, and he gave his life as a Ben, not Kylo Ren anymore. Same as Darth Vader gave his life as an Anakin, not Darth Vader. So that was kind of similar theming, and I always like when themes kind of echo one another. So that wasn't too heavy-handed. I think like everybody that thinks about it for 2 seconds will kind of get it, but it didn't feel as heavy-handed as it could have been in this movie. But yeah, it was one of those things that I did kind of like. It was a little nice, nudge to the originals. So that was nice. One thing I liked a lot was the expansion of the new lore part from The Last Jedi with the mind connection thing, where they kind of are able to transfer things from one place to another through the mind connection. For example, when in The Last Jedi, when they were talking, like Kylo Ren and Rey were talking, at one point Kylo Ren has water on his face, even though Rey was the one near water, not Kylo Ren. So they expanded upon that here, and they used it quite cleverly, I think, to kind of move the plot along, so that they find out where the other person is, because they can bring stuff from their surroundings, so they can kind of see like, okay, they have this item there, so they're probably in that place. And in the end, at the very end, when Ben is coming to Rey and coming to help her out, he doesn't have a lightsaber. He actually threw it away, like the red one. He threw it away, and he doesn't have a lightsaber. And the Knights of Ren attack him. So at one point they have the connection again with Rey and Kylo kind of exchange lightsabers through that. So now Ben has a lightsaber. So it was quite nice to actually expand upon that part of the lore and actually use it for the plot. So I like that part. I like everything that, it would have been like weird if they hadn't done it. And then, it would have been like, well, why? Like in this instance. And it was a nice touch and nice kind of expansion on the lore. Okay, one huge problem for me in all three of these movies is the Knights of Ren. They finally show up and do shit. They don't do anything. They don't do anything, basically. They just show up and don't do shit. it's so frustrating. They battled once with Ben at the end, and okay, first he got couple of like hits on him, but as soon as he gets the lightsaber, he just kills them all, and it's they're so pointless, and you kind of thought that they would be more important because they were talking about them a couple of times, like even in the previous movies. But yeah, just afterthought, like there's no point in them. It could have been any other stormtroopers. It wouldn't have mattered at all. So there was actually, I'm kind of sad because there was really good film theory on Film Theory's channel that they might have been the Rogue One crew, but of course we know that the Rogue One crew died, so they couldn't have been those. But it would have been a quite interesting twist. But yeah, unfortunately the people at Disney are not as imaginative as people on the internet, so we didn't get anything with those guys. So just nothing. The Knights of Ren are nothing. There's nothing going on with them. Ooh, another negative and probably quite how would I say, maybe not that popular opinion. I did not like Luke's Force Ghost. He I actually liked him in Last Jedi because I kind of felt that he might have gone to the bitter, angry, hermit. You kind of see where the writers were coming from in that point. I kind of got that. But now the Force Ghost is suddenly like all wise, and I feel like now they kind of made him what some of the fans wanted him to be in The Last Jedi, and they were complaining that like no, like Luke is in this, and there were stuff like that. And now they're basically again retconning kind of little bit of Luke character from The Last Jedi, just making him this really wise Force Ghost, and didn't work for me because now the character doesn't feel the same as in Last Jedi. And again, because you have already made that movie, you cannot go back on your characterization because fans on the internet didn't like it. You just have to kind of not double down in a sense, but kind of own that shit that you did it. It's done. It's out there. You cannot like retcon characters for the next one. So I didn't like this one. He was too sagely, let's just say that. So again, something that I never thought kind of as a negative per se, but the very soonness of Rey is kind of showing a little bit. She suddenly can heal people by force touch, and I think she might have gotten that from the old text that she stole from Luke, but they didn't explain it, and it kind of feels weird because that hasn't happened before in any of the movies. That's completely new. There's no previous like evidence that people can do that. So I kind of felt that it was kind of out of nowhere. Okay, they do the rule of three in this one. She first heals a snake with that, and then she heals Kylo Ren with that, and then at the end Ben heals her. So yeah, there's the rule of three. Well, actually, now that I said like that, maybe like Ben is the Mary Sue here because he just learned it from Rey like one go and he's done. So yeah. So but that I kind of immediately when they set it up, I knew where it was going. Like, okay, she's gonna either heal somebody important or somebody's gonna heal her with that. It's kind of like in was it Into Darkness, one of the Star Trek films, when they kind of have the fucking hedgehog, I don't know what that was, that like they used to heal or bring people back from the dead, and I was like, okay, they're gonna bring Kirk back from the dead with that. So you kind of just know, and sometimes the things are like, it wasn't set up well within the all episodes, but if you just look at the one movie and don't think about the other episodes, then yeah, okay, it was nicely set up, and it was the rule of three: introduce, force it, and then use it again. So in that sense, they had operated within the like norms that the storytelling industry kind of has. But yeah, it was kind of out of nowhere. I'm not mad at it. It's kind of neutral complaint. I kind of felt that it could have been something else, or just maybe Ben would have had like a vision or something at the end. I don't know. But yeah, well then it would have been Deus Ex Machina, so maybe this was better, yeah. Okay, minor nitpick. There was this one fan service moment that really stood out for me, and it was when Luke's Force Ghost lifted his X-wing from the sea, and my mind went like, oh, he couldn't do that when he was first training with Yoda, So it was too hammered in. I think anybody that has watched Star Wars would know that scene where he's like, I cannot lift the X-wing, and Yoda is like, but yeah, that was really heavy-handed, and the fan service in this one was, it was quite heavy-handed. At the end of the day, it really didn't bother me that much. There were a couple of scenes, but this was the biggest one of the scenes that kind of annoyed me with the fan service and with the we have watched the other Star Wars films, and that was kind of annoying, but yeah. So in conclusion, it was better than the sum of its parts, whereas Last Jedi some of its parts were better than the whole. So here, a lot of things were things that I did not like, but it overall was good. Whereas Last Jedi, there was a lot of things I did like, but overall it wasn't that good. So take it or leave it. I will watch it again. I'm not disliking it at the moment. I'm quite happy how it ended. It could have gone so much worse. And I did leave smiling, so that's one thing. But there were a lot of things that I didn't like, but they didn't overshadow it like they did maybe in Last Jedi. And Last Jedi was way more fractured, whereas this had really like streamlined plot, so it didn't feel like there was a lot of things that shouldn't have been there. Actually, it almost felt like there should have been more scenes, and it should have been longer. Whereas in Last Jedi, you kind of just feel like this is filler. Why is this here? Where here you're kind of like, maybe we would have needed a little bit more in some places. But overall, way better than I expected. But yeah, my expectations were quite low, and will divide people, certainly. Star Wars isn't in a good place at the moment. This was step in the right direction, but I think a lot of people will have negative feelings for this one too, because they already crashed the ship on the second one, and now they're just like trying to get the wreckage to work. So I understand why people might not like this one either. But yeah, those were my rambling thoughts about the Jedi Rise of the Skywalker, and also a little bit about The Last Jedi too, here and there. So see you guys around. Okay.